Gopal Srinivasan, do you anticipate that there will be an acknowledgement, be any kind of redressal on either of these issues? One, trying to get people not to move out of India to start with, and we've seen that flight over the last few years, and B, to ensure that those who have moved out find it easier to move back.
I think Vineet made some really good points. Fundamentally, Shireen, from my point of view, a lot of people move out because if you do the deep analysis, at a seed and Series A stage, basically, the foreign funds, the foreign VC funds, sell them the Kool-Aid of basically the advantages of relocating to Delaware or Singapore or wherever. So that, I think, is where the core issue is. We need more AIF-type funds participating in that area, unlike the foreign funds with their programs who attract the seed and Series A. जो घर वापसी करते हैं, पहले घर से निकल के जाते हैं ना. So fundamentally, the question really is, why did they leave? Because it's a B2B SaaS company, and some foreign fund sold them the idea that going there is the only way. But after the success of Indian listing and the disasters faced in NASDAQ, I think people are more ready. So I think it has to be a concerted effort to get more seed and Series A funds, like what Reema does, for example. They are the ones who will be able to get these companies back to India. Second is ESOPs, already been covered. Already government has made some good steps on ESOPs. They made some changes in the last 2 years where they said if you get IMB, Interministerial Board approval, you can get up to 4 or 5 years as an exemption. But that needs to be not only made 10 years, but it should not apply if you leave the company. Such tweaks have to be done. So 2-3 such messages need to be given clearly and unambiguously by the government in order to keep this movement going.
Yes, Reema, Mr. Srinivasan and Vineet, I want to understand from you, there are concerns at this point in time on the health of the startup ecosystem. Of course, valuations across the board globally have come off. We've seen the kind of pain that the technology sector globally is faced with, and that story is playing out here as well. But there are questions today. Vineet, I'm going to get you and Reema to come in before I come to Mr. Srinivasan. There are questions on overestimation of market size, on overestimation of the monetization capability, and at the end of the day, what really this means as far as this whole sort of unicorn universe is concerned. Vineet, let me start by asking you, how worried are you today?
So, Shireen, I have never been worried because as investors, we have to be more optimistic than entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are a very optimistic breed. So I think that the critical and very important part of this entire engagement that we're talking about, specifically about what is happening because there is actually change, there is valuation dips, etc. These are things that one should not be really concerned about because as investors, as fund managers, we are long-term players. So the capital has not vanished. What has actually happened is there is a mismatch between expectations of the entrepreneurs and what they were expecting will happen. There has been a little bit of lull because everybody, when you see a fairly significant change, want to step back and rethink and reflect on how do you participate. What has actually happened in India is a large number of people want to follow rather than lead. They are looking for lead investors because valuations now has become a fairly sensitive issue. And lead investors are like Reema, Aavishkaar, and Gopal. We are the kind of folks, because we are on the ground, we are actually spending significant amount of time. We have to play a significant and more role in attracting the capital to come in and basically bring in those who are actually sitting on the sidelines wanting to do a follow-on investment. I can tell you there are 10 examples in my own portfolio where there are 5 investors who have actually said we are committed to come in this round, but not willing to find a lead investor. And that actually tells you that you need to have significant understanding. So there is becoming this sort of a differentiation that is coming in.
But what is the deterrent there? What is the deterrent there, Vineet? Is there a lack of confidence? Is it a confidence erosion? What's holding the lead investors back?
I think that's not about lead investors being held back. There are a lot of people who don't want to take lead. And one of the reasons, the difference is actually the capability to make that assessment. All the issues that you point. Are you making the right assessment of the market? Are you on the field? Are you making one single visit and taking an assessment? You like a great presentation and then you are making a decision? Or do you really understand the market? Do you understand the challenges of monetization? Can you actually support the institution to reach where they are? So these are the differences between set of investors who are deeply involved and those who are actually far away, very important part of the ecosystem, because you cannot not have them, but may not want to actually lead given the kind of the up and down things have happened. So.
Gopal Srinivasan, we're completely out of our time here. 5 seconds, sum up the mood for us ahead of the budget.
I think, my mind, what this budget needs to do is bharosa. Fundamentally, trust AIF managers, trust the startups to go through the surf of Alan Greenspan-created massive liquidity, further accelerated by COVID, but sharply corrected by excellent Reserve Bank managers. So allow the second thing to happen. And my dream, Indian fund managers should be investing across the world. Remove all limits on us investing abroad. Let the insurer not tell us we can't invest abroad. Let us go and create fund managers from India who will show the world how to build great companies.
Gopal Srinivasan, Reema Subramanian and Vineet Rai, we will get you back on the 1st of February to decode the fine print of what the union budget finally unveils as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned. Atmanirbharta, Bharosa, and of course, giving the AIF industry a further fillip. That's the big ask here of Gopal Srinivasan, Reema and Vineet. Many thanks for joining us on this special edition of Young Turks. We'll take a break. There's a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a minute with more.